Hey, how's it going, ladies and gents? My name is Troy Smith. Nice to see you. Well, I just wanted to go through my modern white human deck, which I created, and I played with the modern tournaments, which is really awesome. And I was complimented by some couple real pro players that didn't play in Grand Prix, played in the real shit, not the shit you just pay for. Gotta have Planeswalker points for these. So what I wanted to show you is my idea that I created of this modern human deck idea. Now, a lot of these cards you'll see in many decks of the same kind of style, but also ratio does count with the deck, like how you create with your 60 cards is the standard, and having the right amount of copies of the same card. Now, I have 22 lands in this deck, and I have, 60 cards, and that's exactly my rule of thumb for myself. I mean, some people have different rules of thumb or different ways of creating a deck. My rule of thumb is 22 lands, 60 cards, and I even count, like, fetch lands and stuff like that as a land itself, because, I mean, you're still getting the land from it, even if it's, like, Evolving Wilds, which, or a fetch land, shit like that. Or dual lands, whatever. Anyways, so let's get to the point. The point is that I just wanted to share this with you as a new deck idea to kind of spread around, kind of show other people, I guess. I don't know, because it's always awesome to see different builds and stuff like that other people are using, and I would love for some people to use this build that I'm going to show you. Now, okay, let's just get straight to it. The first card that I'm going to show you, we're going to go from 1-drops all the way up to the highest amount of mana. We're going to do Champion of the Parish. Okay, I have a whole playset, all 4 of them. Show you this, bear with me on my webcam. But, yeah. Whenever another human enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Champion of the Parish. I mean, under your control, of course. Whenever you put another human onto the battlefield under your control, specifically, put a 1/1 counter. So he's really good at this strategy. Because you can just put a counter on him from any creature. Every creature in here is a human. There's plenty more creatures than anything else as far as spells. Every spell creates a human. Then we got Doom Traveler, a whole playset of him as well. And what he does is he's a 1-drop for a 1/1, and when he dies, then put a 1/1 Spirit Token creature onto the battlefield under your control. So that's great for evasion also. Evasion purposes with flying, block flying. He's just the ultimate chump blocker. You can just block with this fucker and then a block with against a flyer afterwards. It's unbelievable, and it's a human. We gotta remember, human. That's what counts with all, tribal decks. Is you gotta remember that creature type matters all different in the world. You can put a counter on Champion of the Parish as well. Elite Inquisitor, 2-drop, 2/2, first strike. He's got also got Vigilance, protection from vampires, zombies, and werewolves. So I mean that's a great added bonus. But also he's 2 for 2/2, first strike. Human creature, so when he enters the battlefield, he can also, help out our other creatures, and he does a really good job. That's a really, really, really good creature to have, and he's done some good work. Then we have Knight of the White Orchid, one of my all-time favorite cards for this kind of deck. 2 for a 2/2 first strike. Whenever it enters the battlefield, the opponent controls more lands. You search your library for planes and put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library afterwards. So shuffling library is another huge thing in Magic you want to remember, because sometimes, you just need to shuffle your library because you get mana blocked or whatever. So that's another really good time to play this guy. Otherwise, this is great 2/2 first strike if you can't pull off, they got more mana than you if you went first or something. But otherwise, on their 3rd turn, you can usually play this guy and then search out for planes, and you got planes in your hand. You got 4 mana on your 3rd turn. Just like that. It's a very common thing. So, Knight of the White Orchid, also a human knight. Human. Counts big. Then we got Tharbon, my nigga Doomsaya. We got two of these bad boys. Our first non-play set so far that I've well, except for Elite Inquisitor. Anyways, he's 3 mana. You see, he's a 2/2, and then you can tap him to put a 1/1 white human creature onto the battlefield. We got Faithful Hour. So if you got 5 or less life, other creatures you control get +2/+2. Ultimate fucking big thing about this game. So that gives all your other creatures a big advantage. You know, don't rely on Faithful Hour, but sometimes you can just take the damage to win next turn. It makes people not want to attack you sometimes, some certain specific strategic situations. But also just having that human is just perfect. And then we got Mentor of the Meek. 3 for a 2/2, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control with power 2 or less, then you can pay 1 life, pay 1 mana, and then you can draw a card. So that's extremely awesome. Bread is one of the biggest things about Magic, and that's bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, and card draw. And this fits in with Bread. This is my card draw in my deck, and it's a human, and you want this for your deck if you're creating this deck tech. Let's see. Next creature. We got Crusader of Ordic. 3-drop. We got 3 of these bad boys. Yep. 3-drop. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. Perfect. It reminds me of those ones. The Soulless one, Heedless one, all those ones, except it's 1 less mana, so it doesn't get an ability besides, what it does. Perfect, because it's another tribal thing. Even my elf deck, I have Heedless one. It's great. This bad boy can get really, really big and pump up the other creatures. Great defense. White's all about creating a defense, waiting, and just swinging it all out with a lot of motherfuckers. Anyway, so that's done. Excuse my language, by the way. Alright, next card's going to be Fiend Hunter. Great card. It's going to be a 3-drop, and then when he enters the battlefield, you can exile a target creature, and then when he leaves the battlefield, you return that card under its owner's control. So it is an Oblivion Ring, if you're familiar with that, where it exiles a target permanent, non-land permanent, and then when it leaves the battlefield, you get it back under control. So it's the same thing, but for a creature. Also, a big thing about this creature that I used when I was playing in the Modern Tournament was that you can get rid of manlands that are active with this guy. This guy is just ridiculous. So I would definitely, if you're making this kind of a play style, this kind of a deck, I would definitely run 3 of him, because he is just an amazing human. And yeah, he's good. Okay, now moving on to our, our legendary creature. We're going to do Mickeus of the Lunarch, who we have a singleton of him, just 1. He is 1 an X. Okay. He is 1 an X, and he gets X/1/1 counters when he enters the battlefield, and you can tap him to put a 1/1 counter on him, or you can remove a 1/1 counter on him and put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. So that is absolutely astronomically amazing. That'll definitely keep your creatures pumped up, keep them boosted, keep them well, profound, keep them together. Here, hold on one second. I just gotta plug it in over here. Okay. Now I can finish this. Sorry about that. My computer is running out of battery. Don't you love it when you're doing that? When you have this like old computer and it just runs out of battery on you. Anyways, let's get back to it, eh? Now we're moving on to spells. We're starting from 2 drops. So, alright. Gather the townsfolk. We got 3 of these bad boys. This is what it does. Put 2 1/1 white human creature tokens on the battlefield. Fateful Hour, 5 or less life, put 5 on instead. That's going to pump up our other creatures. Shame of the Parish, that's going to do good. With Mentor of the Meek, that's going to make some card draw happen. Also, you're going to get your creatures, and it's all good in the hood. You're gonna definitely, even some chump blockers, but you're definitely going to have some power on the field. That's what I use them for, because that's what the next card is all about. Honor of the Peer. Got 3 of them, perfect number. 2 for 2-drop enchantments, 1 white, 1 colorless, as you can see. And it's white creatures you control, get +1/+1. So even with Mentor of the Meek, it says power 2 or less. You can draw a card by tapping 1. You can still have this out, one of these, which is ideal, just to have 1 out in the battlefield. That's why I have 3. You don't want more than 1 out unless you can absolutely know that, you don't need to draw anymore, you can win right now. Otherwise, you just want to hold on to another one in your hand until you just want to use it as a bomb. But otherwise, yeah, going back to that, the townsfolk, I mean, that's going to make 2 tokens for 2 mana, which is absolutely amazing. And also, yeah, you'd be able to draw the card with Mentor of the Meek. Tap 1 whenever creature with 2 or less enters the battlefield. Draw a card. Okay, so, and that's great for all the other creatures synergetically I've been showing you. That'll really skyrocket with that Honor of the Peer. Okay, next card. Oblivion Ring. 3 of those bad boys. This is what it does, and I will show you right now. This card, 3 mana, and when a Oblivion Ring is the battlefield, exile another target non-land permanent. When it leaves the battlefield, return that non-land permanent back into play under its owner's control. So basically what that does is it'll get rid of enchantments, it'll get rid of artifacts, that aren't creatures, it'll get rid of creatures, it'll get rid of anything that's not a land. So man lands in Modern are very strong, so this won't do any justice against that, but that's why we have Fiend Hunter, so it ain't a problem. So yeah, you definitely want to carry on to a few of these bad boys. That'll definitely do really good. Okay, last but not least, this is one of my bombs I have in my deck. I showed you my removal, Fiend Hunter, Oblivion Ring. I showed you my evasion, which was just, aggro decks in general have evasion because they're a bunch of creatures all together. And aside from Doom Traveler, dies, makes a spirit token, it's evasion. But it also just, it's evasion can be a bunch of white weenies, right? Alright, but anyways, and then the card draw was the Mentor of the Meek. But here's one of the bombs, right here. Besides Mickey's the Lunarch and all those. It's going to be called Increasing Devotion. I have 2 of these. Okay? I know I'm really bad at this. Damn it. 3 colorless, 2 white. And what it's going to do is put 5 1/1 white spirit tokens on the battlefield. If Increasing Devotion was cast from your graveyard, put 10 on instead. And the flashback cost is 9. 2 white, 7 colorless. You get 10 for 9. So that is extremely good from your graveyard. So even if someone makes you discard it or something, or whatever, later in the game, if you're still alive, 9 for 10 tokens. If you don't win the game by that, it'd be really a really prolonged game, but it can happen. It's Magic the Gathering. Alright, so that is my main board. Now, let's kick into my sideboard, shall we? Real quick, I know I'm kind of dragging this video out, but anyways, let's kick into my sideboard. So, now, if we're dealing with, we gotta look at options. Sideboards are all about options. You have 15 cards in your sideboard that you can put in there. If you're playing Pro Tour rules, I believe they say you have to have 15 cards, you can have no more, no less. But since we're playing this modern, that card shops and shit like that, it doesn't matter. You can have, you can have a minimum. Maximum will still be 15, but you can minimum sideboard. Anyways, I'm done. Mass Calcify, which is 7 mana, so 2 white, 5 colorless, and what this card does is, quite simply, destroy all non-white creatures. If you're playing against a deck that is solely kind of like this one, or a deck that's even, could be, you can run into that's a little bit quicker, that's going to have a ton of creatures that obviously aren't white. If you pull this card off, your chances of winning the game are very, very high. And also 7 mana may seem like a lot, but we have Knight of the White Orchid, which is a possible mana ramp, so that could help out too. But if not, it's still a great sideboard to put in if you're playing against really pesky, like Saprolings or something like that. It's something that can, create a lot of dudes. Okay, so I have that in there. War Priest of Thune. I have 3 of this bad boy. And he's 1 colorless, 1 white. And he is, when he enters the battlefield, you may destroy target enchantment. Very good against decks that are heavily enchantment based. Like 8 Rack. I know that's one that's just all about, different ways of making you lose life for not having cards in your hand and stuff like that. You want to just destroy. There's shit like that. So he's really good. He's still a human creature. He still goes through synergetic strategy. But he's just great to have on your sideboard against decks that are heavy enchantment. And then we have Return to Dust, more heavy enchantment artifact removal. I have 3 of these bad boys in my sideboard. You can obviously sideboard any way you want, but I got 3 as an option. That would be the maximum I'd ever put in my deck during a round of Magic. So this is from Time Spiral. It's 2 white, 2 colorless, and remove target artifact or enchantment from the game if you play this during your main phase. It's also an instant, by the way. Play this during your main phase, remove up to 1 other target artifact or enchantment from the game. So you can remove 2 artifact enchantments from the game. Otherwise, you have instant speed removal on artifact enchantments. Sure, it's 4 mana, but I mean, removing 2 is very great against decks are very powerful against 8 Rack, which is just full of that stuff to stopping you. And there's a card called something Bridge. I forgot what the hell it's called, but it just completely stops creature decks. So you need cards like this comboed with Oblivion Ring and War Priest of Thune here. To stop decks like that. So that's another reason this is in my sideboard. Really good against sort of artifacts decks too. More removal. Okay. Our last card in the sideboard is Safe Passage. We all know this card, right? We play white, we know Safe Passage. It's 1 white, 2 colorless, and it's prevent all damage, not even this combat damage, that would be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. Great against burn, great against decks that are just red decks. I mean, this is specifically against red decks that are just gonna destroy all your little creatures, or even just destroy all your little dudes, just blow them all up. Let's call it a day. That deck's gonna hopefully save the day for you. Just having 2 of them in your sideboard, side them in against that kind of strategy. So it's just good to be versatile with your sideboard. Put cards in that you wouldn't put in your main board because your main board's synergetically right on. So yeah, safe passage, last but not least. And then the last final bonus before I end this 20-minute video, holy crap, is that's my whole entire Modern deck. I really hope that you maybe find someone that wants to copy it. It is actually a pretty cheap deck right now. The cards aren't too expensive in that deck right now. So you could, make that deck for probably, with sleeves and a deck box, you'd probably make the deck, $70. So, I mean, that's not bad for a really good deck with the sideboard sleeves and a deck box. So, I'm just saying, budget decks are what's up, and this deck does rock, and it's great. It's a modern legal deck, and it's awesome. One bonus fun fact thing I have here this isn't part of my modern strategy, obviously, because it's not modern legal, but it's Mother of Ruin. I'm sure we all know this one. 3 of them. 1 mana, and tap it, target creature you control gains protection from a color of your choice till on turn. I swap Elite Inquisitor out for her if I'm playing casual or if I'm playing Legacy. See, I can play Legacy with this deck too. It's that's the thing about decks you gotta do. You gotta make them Legacy and Modern, ready to go. Because it just sucks when you play with a Modern deck and your friends have really well built Legacy decks and they just sweep the floor with you because Legacy is more powerful than Modern. So you need a bomb like that, or just a great creature. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this deck, maybe there's other ideas, I don't know, but I really, 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 I've played with this a lot, and it really does good. It's also about the person playing the deck, not just the deck itself. Obviously, all us good Magic players know that, but this deck's cheap. I just really want people, the reason I shared this video wasn't to babble on about how good it is or anything. It's just so that you or anyone else could purchase this deck and play with it at Modern tournaments. That's why I did this. So, yeah, check her out, see what you think. But for now, toodaloo, have a nice day, and I will do another deck tech soon.